Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Technical Tuesday, Making Better Business Decisions with the EPM Live Project Optimizer app. We have a few logistics to cover before we get started. Everyone will be muted for the duration of the presentation. However, should you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat module, so please feel free to chat with me there. This webinar is being recorded and will be distributed later today along with any PDU information. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our EPM Live technical trainer, Christina Williams, for today's presentation.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the new Project Optimizer app. My name is Christina Williams. The Project Optimizer is used as a project selection tool to help determine which project items are to be selected in a best plan strategy. In EPM Live, we have a number of apps available, and those include single apps, bundled apps, and third-party apps. The Project Optimizer is an example of a single app. It's also referred to as our feature app. Now, if you're already running EPM Live version 4.4, you may already see the optimizer in your ribbon within the Project Center, as shown here. And for customers who are upgrading from previous versions, such as 4.3, you can select to install the Project Optimizer app from the EPM Live app marketplace. This will add the optimizer into the ribbon within your Project Center. It'll also map the fields for you. Now, it is important to note that only a site collection administrator can install apps into your EPM Live site. Let's take a quick look at the app marketplace. As we can see here under the type single apps, we have the Project Optimizer listed here. So we'd be able to select this and then install it into our EPM Live site if we don't already have it. Now, adding or installing an app into EPM Live is pretty simple. You can do it directly from your Community drop-down menu, or you can navigate to the Manage Apps page and then click Install Application link at the bottom of that page. Okay, so where do we start? Now, after analyzing your resource plans and your cost plans for your various projects, the optimizer can be used to help determine a best plan. This tool is used when deciding which project items are included or excluded in a best plan strategy. This new utility can be used to set up strategies by selecting options in either choice fields such as state, project type, etc., or other types of number fields using sliders. And I'll show you what those look like in just a moment. And then we can save a strategy or a plan for obtaining specific goals or desired results. Now, today's objectives we'll review. We'll begin by viewing a specific project item, and looking at its various prioritization weighted fields and the prioritization score, as well as the resource plan hours. Next, we will view our cost planner and look at the budget and planned benefits for that project. And then we'll jump into the optimizer itself and dig into using the configuration box. We'll also look at how to apply and use the various filters, such as our choice filters or our slider filters. We'll look at saving a strategy. Now, a strategy is a high-level plan of action to obtain a specific goal or desired result. In the optimizer, these strategies can be used to create your best plan. We'll also look at committing the strategies back into our project center and viewing the committed strategy, and then we'll also look at saving views. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to our EPM Live site and jump right in. Here I am logged into EPM Live, and to use the Project Optimizer app, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to Project Center by selecting Projects in my Quick Launch. And here we're looking at the executive summary of our project center. So I'll go ahead and select a specific project and then select to view the item. And this will take me to my view form, also referred to as the project control page. Here I have all the various details about this particular project, zip phone. Now if I scroll down, I can see some various details about my project, including my prioritization score. Now this prioritization score is based on these various business factors or business drivers and their weighted scores based on the selection here. So for example, this project has a prioritization score of 79. I can also look at other details about this project, such as some of our cost details, and such as budget, planned benefit, etc. I can also look at resource plan hours. So this is the total of hours that have been committed to this project for my various resources on this project. Now I can look in detail at my budget or benefits and whatnot for this project by selecting Edit Costs up here in the ribbon. Here we can see the detailed budget for this particular project, and we can see our total budget for the project is $195,000. I can also look at some of my other cost types, such as my benefits. And I can see here that we've estimated that we'll have a benefit of about $300,000 for this particular project. So I'll go ahead and close out of my cost planner, and I'm back on the project control page. So I'll go ahead and close out of here and return to my project center. So now I have an idea of some of the various details about my project or some other projects as well. And now I can go ahead and launch into the Optimizer app itself. So first I need to select some projects. So I'll go ahead and select some of these here by checking the box to the left of them. And let's say I want to go ahead and optimize on these 4 selected projects. When I select these projects, I can see up here in the Items ribbon, I have the button here for the Optimizer. And so let's take a look at some of the layout and get familiar with the tool itself. So here within the Optimizer, I have this ribbon section up here, and as I'm working with the tool, I can always collapse or expand the ribbon by selecting this minus or plus sign. Here we have the Optimizer tab, and on here we have various buttons. So we'll look at configuring the Optimizer in just a moment. I also have my various strategy buttons here. So as I'm working with the Optimizer and I find a best plan or a strategy I think would be good to go forward, I can go ahead and save that strategy. And then I can always modify them by renaming or deleting if needed. And then when I'm ready, I'll go ahead and use this Commit Strategy button. And I can always alternate and go back and forth between various strategies and find really what is that best plan. And for using the Optimizer, we'll be using this comparison box here, as well as then the filters. Now currently we haven't set up the comparison or the filters yet, so that's what we'll go ahead and do in just a moment. And then here I have those various projects that I had selected from the Project Center. And the Optimizer will help me know whether I should be moving forward and selecting some of these projects or leaving them as unselected. So I'll go ahead and select the Configure button here. Now up here in this, back on the Optimizer, we have the comparison window or section. And in that comparison section, we need to select, well, what is it that we're going to be comparing to a manually entered value? And if I expand this here, I can see I have a number of various options, such as budget, ROI, planned benefits, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and select budget. And here we have a title for the comparison field. So let's say I'm going to go ahead and compare my budget to what our approved budget is. And then when we use our filters for comparison, we can then see here our various available fields for use as filters. So let's say, for example, I want to use my project type, so I can select that and then click the Add button. I'll also use ROI, or return on investment, and then prioritization score. So these will be the 3 fields that I'll use for my filtering. And when I'm ready, I'll click OK. So now here we have our approved budget, and this is where we'd enter in this value manually. We can see the budget from the projects below is red here, and it's the total budget from all these projects here. So let's say, for example, we have an approved budget of $300,000. So clearly we're in the red here. We're under about 50, or we're over budget by about $57,000 currently. So since we know we're over budget, we probably can't go forward with every one of these projects. So the idea here is that we can use these various filters to help us figure out, well, what would be the best plan for going forward based on what are our important criteria. So currently I have 2 different project types that are available with these various projects. If I select the project type dropdown, this gives me a choice, and I could select to go forward with either enhancement or program. So if I unselect program, I can see I have 2 program projects and 2 enhancement. And I can see now that we are now under budget, and I can see that some of these projects have been selected, and these 2 have now been moved out. Now we have this option here for the selection field. You can see they're all currently set to auto, meaning that they'll automatically go into the selected or unselected sections based on the filters. But if we want to be able to force in or force out a specific project, we could do so by selecting it. And I'll say, for example, I need to do Solar Plus, and I'll select it in. And that way it'll stay and it'll force it in. So maybe this is a good strategy here. I can see we're under budget. We're going forward with 3 good projects, for example. Maybe I want to save this as a strategy. I go ahead and select Save Strategy, and we'll call this the enhancement strategy. And I can select to have this as a personal strategy if needed. Now let's say I want to continue moving forward and perhaps figure out maybe some other strategies so I can make a best plan scenario. I can use this clear button, which will clear out all the filters that had been used. And I could put this back to auto if I wanted. And again, we can see, again, we're over budget by about $57,000. So let's go ahead and use now these slider filters. Let's say, for example, I want to be looking at the ROI, and I want to adjust it a little bit. I can use this slider here, and I can manually move it back and forth. Or if I want to put in a specific value, I can always select the number and type in the very specific detailed number, perhaps. And so I can see then that moved out 1 project there. Now while I'm working with this optimizer, perhaps I want to be seeing some additional information in these various columns. That's where we can then use this View tab here. So for example, if I select the View tab, I can select columns, and then I can save my views so that I can see certain information here. For example, maybe I want to see the prioritization score. So I selected my columns button, and then I select prioritization score, and then click OK. And then if I go back to my optimizer, I can still continue working within my various filters and building out what a good strategy might be. So maybe I think, okay, yes, this is going to be a good strategy. I'll go ahead and select Save Strategy. And I'll call this strategy my ROI strategy. And maybe after comparing or discussing with other decision makers within the organization, we think that yes, this is a good strategy. Let's go ahead and commit the strategy and move forward. So I'll go ahead and select the button here for Commit Strategy. I get a message that lets me know that my strategy has committed successfully. It's now complete. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And then when I'm done, to close out of my optimizer, I just click this Close button here. Now by committing that strategy, what it's done is it's selected a flag field for all of our various projects that we had selected, either as selected or not selected. So what I can now do is go into another view, for example, such as my project assessment here. And we can see that the view has been set up for those that have been unselected or selected, either grouped by no or yes. So I can see the ones that were selected in our various optimizations that we might have done, and those that are now excluded. They could either be on hold or put off or whatnot. And so now going forward and comparing with the various prioritization scores, our various details, we can really find out what would be that best case scenario or that best plan strategy using our various EPM Live tools, including the Project Optimizer. So now as we close discussing our Project Optimizer app, I'd like to tell you some information. We are very excited to let you know about that EPM Live is hosting our first ever user conference called Impact 2013. The conference will be held in San Diego, California at the world-renowned Hotel del Coronado, which is beautiful, by the way. Join us for this two-day event packed with learning and networking opportunities and a very fun special evening cruise around San Diego Bay. We're also offering an additional day of pre-conference training that you won't want to miss. So sign up now to receive the lowest pricing available. And when you sign up, be sure to tell them that Christina sent you. Okay, so that takes us through the Project Optimizer and Impact 2013. Now before we wrap up, I would like to introduce you to the EPM Live University. EPM Live University is our online learning management system where you and your team can easily access all end user and site collection administrator training for our EPM Live products. Within EPM Live University, you can access all of our user guides, self-paced courses, and even register for weekly instructor-led Q&A sessions. Now, EPM Live University is available to all customers who are part of our Premier Success program. So to find out more information about EPM Live University, please visit our EPM Live training page at epmlive.com. We hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Have a great day, everybody.